So the question that we're all trying to figure out is, should Spider-Man be in the MCU?
Yeah. I mean, when I tell you how happy I was when they announced that he was gone from the MCU, I was so excited. So I'll just go back to what my thoughts when he was initially kicked out of the MCU. I was happy mostly because I'm completely fine with Spider-Man not being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't think that he needs to be in the MCU, and I don't think that the MCU really needs Spider-Man. And at this point, the story is over as far as I'm concerned. The story of Marvel is over. With it ended with Thanos, as far as I'm concerned. And whatever they do now, it'll be icing on the cake. I don't expect it to be at the same level as what we just saw. That's what we just had. So literally, they could do whatever they want. I really wouldn't care. They could make Thor a girl. At this point, the story is over as far as I'm concerned. And so I want the superhero genre to be more diverse than it is right now, because everything is so conglomerated under Disney, under Marvel, and I feel like it's not good for the superhero movie landscape.
Yeah.
We the X-Men are now in Marvel. And so what else is there? It's literally just DC now. And Spider-Man is its own thing. We used to have Fantastic Four and X-Men be separate, but now they're part of Marvel too. The thing is that when you have these different groups making these films, you have different films. Whereas when it's all just under Disney, under Marvel, it's all kind of the same film because they have to make their films cohesive with each other. I don't want a bunch of Marvel films. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like if we had more of these types of films coming out of DC, then maybe we would have some better DC movies. I feel like if we had more of these kind of films coming from just other people, it would give us different types of movies, and I think that kind of that diversity and competition would lead to better products in the market. And so I was happy when they said that he was gone, but now he's back. But I'm not sad because he's only back for one movie.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, he's only back for one movie and then one appearance. So they could either just, this is a temporary thing no matter what. It could be temporary because they want to plan something longer. Hopefully not. It could be temporary because they want to make this like an official ending, which I'm fine with. That's fine.
All right. That was
my speech.
Yeah. It's quite the speech because I mean, you make some good points for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like in theory, I think what you're saying is actually true, but the issue is that so far the record speaks otherwise because like we can point to a few movies, right? Like mostly the latest ones. Like let's go with Fox and the X-Men movies. So I'd say that the most recent one was it Dark Phoenix?
Yes.
I didn't see it.
And there's a reason why.
There's a reason why you didn't see it.
Okay. So,
I'll tell you this much.
Yeah.
And not that I'm you, but like I think we have generally I wouldn't say similar taste, but I'd say at least like same level. Like we can tell when something's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie was not that
great. Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's okay. But okay, so here's the thing. I get it. Like when you have diversity, you have like really good and you also have really bad. like Sony Studios has made the worst Spider-Man movie. They've also made the best Spider-Man movies.
Mm-hmm.
Without Marvel on both of those. Mm-hmm. I don't think that like any of the like Spider-Man in Marvel, he's cool on the level that he's like the only Spider-Man who actually feels like a high school student.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like a child. But what they did to the character in making him Tony Stark Jr., it was very disappointing. And you don't have that kind of problem when he's just on his own. And like as a character, he's built to be on his own.
I'll agree with that because I feel like if they were gonna go that route, they need to actually like really bring in Tony as a character. But they never did that. Not even in the first movie. I mean, he was there,
Mm-hmm.
like the actor was there, but he was there for I think 2 or 3 scenes. I can't remember exactly, but basically he didn't feel like he didn't feel like a character like Ned was, or a character like MJ was in the movie, or even Nick Fury in the second movie. Like, I feel like if they were gonna use that legacy of Tony Stark, or use him in his movies so much, he had to just be like a supporting character, essentially, like an actual supporting character that's not like a cameo character. That's how I felt about that. But obviously they wanted to try to like have a mix of both, like have him just be sort of there in terms of presence, but not really there. And obviously he died, so that can't happen in the second movie. But I don't know. I had expectations that he would feel way more hurt, or like there would be way more repercussions with Tony's death that I didn't see in the second movie. He was just sort of like, how am I supposed to carry this legacy on, instead of like my mentor died, and he didn't seem like super sad about it. But which I was hoping to see. I was hoping to see like him resolve some of those feelings, but I didn't get that. So if they're gonna do that, they need to do it well, and I don't feel like they did it well. I feel like it made the movie too
It was
not
watered down.
yeah,
like,
it's watered down.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and that's one thing I will agree, that I feel like it's such a weird thing with the Spider-Man movies, because like these Spider-Man movies, I mean, again, they do their best, and this is probably the reason why I can respect why you don't like Disney. I mean, I don't like the mouse either.
I mean, it's not
But
that it's not just that I don't like Disney. Like, my thoughts on Disney, I want to keep it separate. But the fact of the matter is, like, whether I love Disney or whether I dislike Disney, this is what happens when everything is being done by one studio. It's all gonna be like, it's all gonna have the same feel, and that works when you have like the Thanos like legacy of films and all of that stuff, and it's like this never before done like 20 something films that leads up to one conclusion. Like, that's a great thing that I'm glad that we got. But I don't want that for every single thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that all the time. It was good for.
I mean, most of the movies are pretty singular, or like most of the original movies are pretty like standalone.
I mean, okay, so when I say the same film, I mean as far as the tone is concerned.
Yeah, formula.
The formula. Kevin Feige is like very good with making sure that each of the films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe has the same feel to it.
Yeah.
That
Gotcha.
It feels
Gotcha.
like they're in the same world.
Yeah.
And it feels like these characters can intermingle and they can exist and they can cross over, and it's not going to feel weird to see Thor with in what's his name? Can't Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. Yeah, it's not gonna feel weird to see the Hulk with Spider-Man. Whereas like if Christopher Nolan's Batman is all of a sudden in
The Marvel Universe.
like talking with Tony Stark, that would be weird, because those are two very different universes that were created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it now.
Yeah, and so
I understand.
it's the universe that you create. Like,
Would you say that the X-Men universe feels very different from the Marvel universe?
yeah,
Yes,
for
it
sure.
does. It does.
Yeah.
It feels a lot more. One, it feels a lot more darker, because the X-Men universe, it feels like the whole world isn't like people with powers.
Yeah.
But in Spider-Man's, I mean, Marvel universe, they're like, hey, yeah.
Oddly enough, that's weird. That's a weird.
They're
thing,
all
'cause,
like friends,
in X-Men,
you know.
there's definitely more people with powers than in the Marvel universe, but it feels grounded in X-Men, and that's kind of, and X-Men is an interesting example, because that was the thing that literally started off the superhero world that we have now, where they were the first ones to take it seriously. And in that first X-Men movie, where it's like where Hugh Jackman is like joking about running around in spandex, it like the purpose of it was to bring it to a more grounded place. You kind of see most of the other X-Men movies kind of follow suit, most of them, I would say. But yeah, and that works for that universe, but it doesn't work if like, what I'm saying basically is that it doesn't need to be the same formula, the same feel, the same tone for every single superhero movie.
Yeah, I agree with
understand.
that. Although I will say Black Panther was probably the only ones that actually had a different feel to it. That's part of the whole
It had a
Marvel.
black feel.
It had a more, comparing to the Marvel universe. I don't know. I'm a little bit. This goes back again where I'm kind of conflicted because on one hand, I mean I've always complained about the formula, and you can kind of see it with Spider-Man where like I feel like the Spider-Man movies have a lot of good elements, but they're just used in a way where it's like for the most part it's like like I mean to be blunt, it's just for shit and giggles for sometimes. You know what I mean? Like you said with Iron Man, like that should be more of an emotional moment. But I feel like sometimes they focus too much on fun because fun can like sail well.
They have the comedy,
the emotional,
the serious,
emotional moment. So on one hand, I do not like that. On the other hand,
Yeah, I feel like when they did it the best was in Endgame, like the emotional moments, because everyone was dead.
yeah,
So, so the first half of that movie was very serious.
But that's the thing is like that's when different directors come into play. The Russo brothers have always been good with that. Like they've always managed to pull back the comedy compared to the rest of the Marvel movies. They've managed to pull back the comedy to where it doesn't
Undermine.
the seriousness of the movies. It doesn't undercut whatever they want to do, and so it has their movies have weight. The Russo brothers movies in the Marvel universe have weight to it, as opposed to Taika Waititi's Thor 3, which I feel just was it was just a bunch of fun stuff that happened, even though
a lot of people love that movie.
I know
it made us feel good.
It made us feel good.
That's how I'll say that. Put a smile on your face.
It's a comedy movie.
It's a comedy movie.
It's 100% a comedy
Despite
movie.
the fact that the
comedy
entire
action.
world of Asgard is destroyed. It's
but
a comedy movie.
Yeah, forget the emotional stakes.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying, going back to like where I kind of do what I do like about it coming together is just like, I mean, it's weird that Marvel for like again with X-Men and all these things, it's like they're in New York, but they don't know each other. So I'm kind of glad that they're kind of, although like, I hate the feel. I'm kind of glad that they're bringing the universe kind of together because now we actually feel like they all.
I'm sure they're gonna have some explanations, or like, they're gonna have some explanations.
Yeah,
it's sort of like how Doctor Strange.
They're rebooting it. They're rebooting all of X-Men.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but they have to, if they're located in the same place, they have to have an explanation to why they never interacted.
Yeah, I mean,
sort of like how the Grandmaster from Doctor Strange was always at New York, and how she was battling the Thanos' troops, basically, or Loki's troops.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like we never saw that in the movie, but like seeing that in Endgame, you're like, okay, they were actually there.
Yeah,
and that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get something like that.
Yeah. So
I doubt it. I feel like the world has already been built at this point, and to try to bring in like something as big as the X-Men, I
mean, what are they gonna do? Just like have them be born like right then and there at that moment in time?
I mean, I honestly don't see any way that they can bring them in that's not gonna just sound cheap.
Okay, we'll see.
Define what you mean by cheap.
We everybody knows that we just got the rights back to these characters, so we're gonna put them into these movies now, and it's not gonna make sense, but we're gonna put them in anyway. So
I mean, I feel like they can, like with Spider-Man, I feel like that worked pretty well.
With Spider-Man, it works because he's new, like he's a new character, like he's a new superhero. And we still have they still tied him in, and they did a good job, and that was one character.
Yeah, that's very hard to like do for like Professor X or like
who's
Wolverine.
supposed to be like having this school for like a couple of decades where he's teaching.
And Wolverine's supposed to be around for a while.
Yeah.
So like, what the heck were they doing the entire time?
I mean,
that's the big question.
I guess that's a very interesting thing. We could, I don't know, maybe they can have Deadpool come in and then do something where he messed up the time.
That's another thing. Deadpool is now part of Marvel, which means, and they're not going to do rated R Deadpool anymore.
Oh yeah,
they're not going to do rated.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's what they announced it or something like that. They're not going to do rated R Deadpool anymore, and it's frustrating because we had different feels to these movies, and it's just the more they get collected together, the less differences there's gonna be. And I thought that there was hope when Sony had, the bravery to step away from Marvel. But there's only one more movie left. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
afterwards.
so you'll basically still get what you want, because I'm pretty
maybe.
sure they're gonna make more Spider-Man movies on their own.
Yeah, they
Like
are
Sony.
for sure, especially
They
after
are.
Into the Spideyverse. Like,
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse, and they also announced like a Madam Web movie. Did you guys hear about that?
oh, I didn't hear that.
Mhm.
They are making a sequel to Venom too. That's what I heard.
Yeah, they're making a sequel to Venom 2. So they have plans. They also have plans for Morbius, but I have to look more into that because I don't know what that is all about. But yeah, they have their plans for their Spider-Man universe. It's just weird because they're not using Spider-Man. But we'll see how it goes. Hopefully in 2 years they'll be done.
They'll be done.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, I'm happy because the cliffhanger from Far From Home, I was just gonna pee my pants not getting that
That's
out.
true. I mean,
so we
yeah.
need that to be finished.
I agree with that.
There's no way I can be happy and be like
I agree
calm
with
and then be
that.
like imagine without the Marvel universe. Because the excuse they can do, for example, like how Peter Parker, like as far as this whole as Peter Parker Spider-Man, they can use one of those clone guys and say, oh, this guy was actually Spider-Man, but he's not. Like, so they can use that excuse. But imagine if they didn't have, the Marvel universe, how are they gonna get away with that?
I don't know, it would be more interesting.
I mean, one hand it would, but on the other hand, it's like
it would be more interesting.
Yeah.
I there are pros and cons to both sides. I definitely think I know for sure that we're gonna get a continuation to the story now that Spider-Man is back, and the movie is set to come out 2021. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's better than Far From Home was. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people liked Far From Home.
yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, it's still an enjoyable movie. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, you make a very convincing argument. Like, I'm actually more inclined to agree with you now. But at the same time, I would like to see, I'd sort of like to see both. Like, I'd like to see what the MCU can do with this Spider-Man. Like, see him grow and actually become, like, something more.
I think it would be really cool if we could actually have two different Spider-Man.
That'd be interesting.
Like a Sony Spider-Man and a Marvel Spider-Man. But the world doesn't work like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, because I feel like even though right now the Raimi trilogy is still probably, I like that more than what we've had so far. Even though I do like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, it's just the first two movies, I like them, but they're just not like, they're not at the level of the original trilogy right now for me.
Yeah, I just feel like they're not emotionally impactful. That's just my problem. There's a lack of emotionally impact. And I feel like, this is where, again, why I love Shazam. Because I feel like Shazam was a perfect movie where it was funny, but you still had an emotional impact with that movie.
right.
But it's just the Spider-Man movies, they're too silly. And my problem with the humor, too, is like, I mean, although I did saw the recent, because there was like a cut, apparently there was a cut in the movie in the Far From Home where Spider-Man was supposed to like fight with all the
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So in that scene, Spider-Man was doing quips, but I have not
Wait,
gotten.
he's supposed to fight with who?
No, he's not. He's fighting like
Random people.
in the restaurant, right?
Oh,
yeah.
wait.
They cut that up.
Yeah,
the
they
movie.
cut that out of the... Okay.
So you get to see that scene. In that scene, he was doing quips. But that's my biggest thing. Like, I don't see this Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man's known for his like clever
Right.
quips. He
I feel
doesn't
like
do
all
that
the Spider-Man,
too much.
all the Spider-Man have like lacked something quintessential about Spider-Man.
Exactly. So this Spider-Man, I mean, he does have some quips. It's not like he doesn't do it. It's just he's just not.
Right.
It's not there. So that's one thing I've been lacking. That and the emotional impact is what I'm lacking. But in the Raimi series, the emotional impact is just there.
Yeah.
Like you feel it.
Yeah.
Like despite how cheesy the costumes are or whatever, I still feel that, like I feel that like
Yeah.
home,
I agree with that. And I guess that's why I still put it on top, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, like, obviously the looks of the newer movies are way better.
Yeah.
Any concluding thoughts? Like,
Into the Spider-Verse is the most underrated Spider-Man movie.
I hope it's not underrated. It's one of
Yeah.
the best
It's
Spider-Man.
one of
It
the
is,
best.
but I feel like it's under like when we talk about best Spider-Man movies. Like even when someone was saying, "Well, what good Spider-Man movie Sony put out?" I'm like, they just had the one
They
that
had
won
the
an
best
Oscar.
ones.
They had one that won the Oscar.
Spider-Man
Like,
2, Into the Spider-Verse are the best Spider-Man movies.
yeah, the one I was like, one won an Oscar. Like, could that have not been better? So that's what I mean. That I feel like it's underrated.